The number one challenge for slow swing speed golfers when hitting a fairway wood is getting the ball to launch high in the air. Now there's one key metric that determines that. Today we're going to talk about what that is, but more importantly, I'm going to give you a couple simple ways to improve that metric so you can start launching your fairway woods nice and high. Now, what we understand when we're hitting a fairway wood is, other than the driver, it's the longest club we have in the bag, and it also has the least amount of loft on it. So when we combine little loft, a long club, and a slow swing speed, it is very hard to get the golf ball to launch high in the air. And as a byproduct of that, it's very hard to get a proper descent angle. That is the key metric that we're looking for when it comes to holding greens and things like that. So let me just go ahead and hit a golf shot here to demonstrate that, and then we're going to talk about the tips that I can give you to help you launch that ball high and get it to hold the green. So I've got a shot right here. I've got about 187 to 88 yards to the pin. So what I'm going to do is I've got a typical 3-wood here. I'm going to make what I would call just a normal slower swing speed. Hopefully try to hit the golf ball nice and solid. And let's take a look at what the ball does. All right, now I hit that pretty solid. I had a little bit of hook, as you could tell there, and it rolled out to almost exactly the yardage that I was looking at, 179 to 180 yards. But here's a couple things I want you to look at. Number one, my ball speed was about 118 miles an hour. Remember that, because when I tell you some different tips here, we're going to try to keep that consistent. The peak height was 26 feet. That means that was the maximum height that the ball got up in the air. The launch angle was 7.2, went about 180 yards, so went the right distance, carried 155, but the descent angle was about 19. So as you can tell when you look at that right there, is that I hit it pretty solid, but it was low, therefore when it landed, it just rolled out. Now that's okay if you're trying to hit a shot down the fairway on a par 5, but if I'm trying to hold the green, like I am right here into this shot, that can be very difficult. So that descent angle, getting the ball to launch high so the descent angle is more downward, is what's going to allow a slower swing speed golfer to hit a good solid fairway wood and hold the green. So now that we understand descent angle and those types of things, let's go through 3 different things that we can do to help us get the ball to launch higher, carry further, and hold the green. All right, the first thing is you got to get a club in your hands that has more loft. All right, now what I did here is I just picked up our new Hypermax. Now this has got more loft than a traditional 3-wood. So the first tip that I would tell you is get a club in your hands, a fairway wood that has more loft. Simply adding loft to the club or having more loft on the club you're swinging is going to just naturally, all things being equal, help the ball launch higher so it comes in a little bit softer. But there's 2 other key components here: contact, okay, and swing speed. All right, so let's talk a little bit about contact. When we're hitting a fairway wood, the ultimate goal is to hit the ball and then the ground, almost like a brushing motion. Okay, we're not hitting really down on it like we do with an iron. We're certainly not hitting up on it like we do with the driver. It's kind of in between. So let's talk about ball position and a little bit about the body angle. So here's what I want you to do. Think of the bottom of your swing kind of being where the buttons are at on your golf shirt. Okay, in the general, that's a pretty good spot. So because I want to hit the ground and the ball basically at the same time, I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to position it somewhere between the buttons on my golf shirt and the logo on my shirt. Now in order to do that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my feet together. I'm going to position the ball in the center. I'm going to take a step towards the target and then pretty much an equal to slightly larger step away from the target. All right, so let me give you a couple specific numbers. So I've got the ball in the center of my heels. I'm going to step towards the target 4. For sake of discussion, I'm going to step away from the target 5. Now I've positioned the ball just ever so slightly forward of center, which will allow me to hit the ball on the ground at basically the same time. But the other key component here is the distance from the ball. If we want to have good contact, we've got to have the ball in the right spot, but we've also got to be the right distance from the golf ball. So here's a good checkpoint for you from down the line. Once you got the ball in the right spot, what I want you to feel is that as you sit in there, if you let go of the club with your trail hand, which for me is my right hand, and I just let it fall to the ground like so, it should fit right back onto the club like this. If I was too far away from the golf ball, and this is very common for a lot of golfers when they're swinging their fairway woods, is they get too far from the golf ball, then my hand kind of falls in this direction. You can see the difference there, right? So that simple checkpoint, take your posture, get set in there, let your hand just kind of dangle. It should slide right back into the right spot there. All right, so here's what we've learned so far. In order, and then we're going to talk about one other swing tip for you, and we're going to hit a couple shots and see if it's any different. Descent angle, how the ball comes down to the ground, is a key component to helping slower swing speed golfers hold the green. In order to do that, I can do a couple things. Number one is get a club with more loft on it. Okay, that's going to naturally help. Number two is make sure that we make good contact with the golf ball. Get the ball in the right spot and get the right distance from the golf ball. Now, what about the swing thought? Well, if you followed any of our stuff here at VLS Golf and US Golf TV, we wrote a whole book on this. It's called The Bad Lie. But the direction in which we swing the club can have a huge impact on this club head speed and the contact. And one of the things that we prescribe to in the vertical line swing system is that the lead arm should swing more straight back and a little bit more up. Okay? A little more straight back and up. When we get longer clubs like fairway woods, and this is why descent angle and contact and all these things start kind of tying together, is that when the clubs get longer, naturally we start to swing the club more around. So when we take it back, the arms work low and around, which moves the contact backwards, and then therefore it gets very difficult to hit these longer clubs. So here's a simple drill that you can do, and then we're going to hit a shot. We're going to tie this all together and see if we can get that ball up in the air for you. So here's the drill. What you're going to do is just take your normal setup, and what I'm going to have you do is maintain your posture and just go ahead and lift your hands up to about the height of your buttons. So maintain posture, lift your hands up to about the height of the buttons on your golf shirt, and then just go ahead and turn. And what you'll notice is that when you do that, your arms get just a little bit above your shoulder, your hands are a little bit above that line, and all of a sudden you've got some length to your swing. So let's tie this together. I'm going to hit a shot here, and I'm going to do my best, Nick. Nick, can you give me a thumbs up? Come on, all right, good. Hey, I waited a long time to get the thumbs up from Nick. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. And hey, tell us where you're from. It's one of our favorite things to understand. So here's my goal. Can I swing this and get a ball speed around 118 miles an hour, doing the things we just talked about? And then we're going to take a look at the data and see how it ties together. So here we go. I'm going to get the right distance from the golf ball. I'm going to get the ball in the right spot. Let me go ahead and make that swing. All right. We got the shot tracer on. Oh, man, Nick, oh my goodness sakes, huh? Come on, buddy, come on. All right. Now, let's look at the data, because that's what you're here for. So let's talk about this. We have the other data. We had the ball speed around. Okay, this is good stuff. Ball speed was on the previous shot was about 119, 118.7. This shot here, 112. Actually a slower ball speed. Okay, but what was different? Peak height, 67 feet. The other one, peak height was only like 26. So this ball was more than double the height in the air. Descent angle, how is it coming down? The other one was about 19.4 degrees, the low angle. Think it was kind of coming in low, it landed and then rolled out. Now remember, both these shots went about the same distance, but the flight characteristics were totally different. The descent angle on this shot right here, 37.5 versus 19.4, completely different, all right? And of course, the distance on this particular one, 187 yards. The other one actually was about 193. So here's the key. When you're hitting a fairway wood, what you want is you want high launch so the ball comes in nice and soft so it holds the green, much like we saw right here. Now that we've improved your fairway woods, be sure to check out my next video. And if you want to personally work with us on your golf game, check out vlscoaching.com.